Everybody, welcome to Stack Your Points. Thanks for watching and listening. And this is the Friday Q&A segment. So your questions, we answer them, sometimes up to an hour, sometimes it creates its own episode in and of itself. So if you have questions, always feel free to drop them on the YouTube channel or email us at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. But we hope you enjoy this week's Q&A session. Thanks for watching and listening. Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined as always by RJ from Do You Take Cards? RJ, how are you tonight?
I am well, and we're recording to a new SSD, so if this episode goes out, everything went well and I recorded where we're supposed to.
The instant recording message was very, very quick. We did not have the usual lead-in. Also joined by Tariq from Reeks Rewards. How are you today?
I'm good. The vibes are positive. Work is going to be slow this week because I have like 9 days off next week. But you know what? I've got a volunteering event tomorrow and then a office holiday party on Wednesday. So you know what? I'm going to be chilling.
Folks, that is not an invitation to start drinking. And finally, last but not least, Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. Lonnie, how are you today?
I'm good. I got a new Darth Vader helmet that I'm very excited about, added to the collection. So I got to rearrange my wall a little bit because it's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I also beat pop-up jail in 48 hours. So I'm expecting some questions.
Like, is that helmet the only new thing you got to this past week?
No, because pop-up jail got me a new card, the Hilton Aspire card. And I've already started taking advantage of the Q4 benefits.
$50 in the travel bank. Yeah, thank you very much.
15 days to get $600 in credits. And damn it, I'm going to try.
Well, I know you banked at least 50.
Oh, yeah, that one already came off the statement. That's already cleared. That one's gone.
I'm curious to see what you do with the resort credit.
And if everyone is going to a Hilton resort and wants to buy me a $200 gift card, call me.
There we go. We're going to move over to our viewer questions, and we have a couple of questions. One that's been lingering around for a little bit. When we're going to start off with this one, it is a beefy question. So here it is. What's your 2025 prediction for each of the big issuers? Chase, American Express, Wells Fargo, Citi, Capital One, and Barclays. Now, I know Barclays isn't a big issuer, but I smell changes coming. This comes from Jason S. in the Stack Your Points Discord. Let's throw it to Tariq. Do you have any predictions for each of those issuers for 2025?
Okay, so for Chase, they're just going to keep being, they're going to win by doing absolutely nothing because no matter what they do, they're just going to get subs and they're going to have, you know, they have a bunch of suckers and sheep that just mindlessly go for the Freedom Flex because of the 1 quarter a year that they get groceries. I know that because I stare one of those suckers in the mirror every morning.
But admitting it is the first step.
But in reality, I think no, because the only thing it could be is that premium Hyatt card that I can think of. But aside from that, they're just comfortable. I don't think there's going to be anything big for Chase because Chase doesn't feel threatened. I mean, the closest thing they had was like Wells Fargo with the autograph journey, and when they did the Attune, and they just remedied that with dropping their random Freedom Flex quarterly categories, and people were good. So maybe they'll add another weird random category like, I don't know, Savannah Bananas tickets in the summer, just because they've done random things like McDonald's this quarter. And then I think it was Norwegian Cruise Lines coming up. So yeah, that's that. So Chase will just do weird random quarterly categories for the Freedom Flex. AMEX, I don't know if they did it yet or not, but I think they're just going to fully implement family language on the Hilton cards because they're going to finish that out. And then they're going to do a revamp of the green. Don't know what that's going to be yet, but We saw them doing things with Lounge Buddy. Not sure what the plan is for that. So there's probably going to be a refresh to the green card because, like they said, there's going through all the changes on all their cards. So everyone's going to get a little love. So that's what I think for AMEX. Wells Fargo Autograph Beyond will more than likely drop probably during travel season. Now that, well, once the hype, and then they'll probably more than likely start pulling their head out of the rear end for their transfer partners because, you know, they're very thin. Citi, I don't know. Maybe they'll bring back, they'll do the Strata Elite. But other than that, their zombie cards will still be walking looking for credit card brains. So, you know, that's that. Capital One, I mean, there's like 25 different trademarks, which means there's going to be like possibility of like 3 cards each with good, okay, whatever credit and excellent credit because we know Capital One. Maybe they do something with the Uber benefit now that it's over with the saver. And I think I deleted the Uber app because I don't care enough for it anymore now because of it. And then Barclays, honestly, I don't really pay attention much attention to Barclays now that they are losing everyone's losing that cash, the easy American Airlines mile grab with the one sign-up bonus card. You know, they lost that kind of partnership that they had left over with Americans. So maybe they'll start. I think JetBlue is who they issue their JetBlue cards, right, Matt?
Yep.
I don't know if they did do their premium card. I think it might have been in the talks.
They've pre-announced that a premium card is coming. They have not gone to the extent that Alaska has yet, but they have guaranteed that card will get you lounge access in JFK and Boston.
Well, we'll probably get more detail on that. That's probably going to be like the Barclays big thing. So I think that touches all of my predictions because, like I said, I focus a lot on Chase, and Chase doesn't have to do anything because they don't want to. They're still making money.
All right. RJ, your thoughts here on predictions?
Yeah, I actually think I have a little bit of a rebuttal to the Chase thing, and it's not that excuse me. It's not that I don't think they have to do anything, because I agree that they're at a place where they don't have to. But one of the news stories that we cut was about them cutting down on referrals. And I do wonder if, and I know I've been saying it as a half joke for a long time, but I do wonder if it is possible that they might slow to pause the ink train for a while. Because of how popular in certain segments of YouTube it's become and how popular with certain credit card enthusiasts it's become, and the referral program, and how hard some people hit that. I do wonder if they're going to make some changes, going to slow all of that down for a while, and then see what happens, see if they're still getting people in, because they're the biggest bank as far as credit card issuers in the US. So they don't need to put out as much as they do as far as the, 1% of the 1% who ink trains their life, right? They don't need that spend, not really. So I do wonder if we might see a year of Chase sort of tightening up as far as referrals, as far as all of those sort of ink trainy things, and see it slow a little bit. Maybe in 26 or 27 it opens back up. But we usually do see ebbs and flows for this. And I think Chase might be like, well, if we're getting all of these people without paying out these referrals, without paying out these ink trains, why don't we see if we can, stay afloat, we'll say, without it. So I actually do think we could see that changing for Chase. I agree. I don't think there are going to be major changes to the credit cards unless we get like the Emerald card or whatever card might be coming as sort of a topper over the reserve. Amex needs more personal cards that are not co-branded. Like they killed 3 cards without a press release, and we haven't heard anything about what's going to replace them. Um, just just let the everyday cash and everyday preferred just let them be points if you want or cash if you want, and that solves 95% of my issues with their lineup right now. But yeah, I think Amex is going to pull out a couple of new cards, not necessarily brand new, but refreshes of cards that they sort of pulled. I still wish they would have put out something because they should have. Wells Fargo, I think we do see the Beyond next year. I think we do see that big card. I think we see some more transfer partners. It might not be the transfer partners I would particularly want, but I still think they have to move. If they want to move up in the market, they have to make moves. How you make a big move is putting out something like the Beyond with some transfer partners. They need at least one, quote, big US based transfer partner to make it worth their while for people to get Beyond. And I do think we're going to see that. City, I don't know. Go lick a third rail. Um, Capital One, I think a lot of it's going to depend on what happens with the Discover partnership, merger, buyout, whatever you want to call it, because it's not done yet. It's still in process. And I do think Capital One is at a certain level pausing until that is done. Now, I don't think they've completely stopped everything, but I do think that they have a lot of attention on that. So there's less attention on other things. So I really think that Capital One wants to tighten that up before they do anything crazy. They might literally, for contract reasons, not be able to do a whole bunch of stuff until the Discover thing gets settled. So it might not be a want, it might be a financial and fiscal and legal thing where they just have everything on pause. Um, Barclays, I don't know. I unless they get the Apple Card again, I don't care. Like I just don't. I'm sorry, Barclays. Stop requiring people to fax things and maybe we'll talk. But that's what I have for predictions. I actually think Chase could be really interesting for a question we will get to later.
There we go. Lonnie, any predictions? I know you're not necessarily in the prediction game, but any predictions for you?
Who said I'm not in the prediction game? How am I getting pitch a hole? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I usually just throw a weird pitch every so often.
I mean, all right, let me grab my crystal ball real quick. Shake the magic 8 ball a couple of times. First off, jumping off of Chase. Actually, I'm going to kick it back to Tariq real quick because my player too, my wife, ended up getting the Freedom Flex with the 12 months of gas and grocery, which means she's about to get 9x on grocery again in a couple of days.
Hey, same, man. I got one more month of it because I got it in February. But hey, that 1 month in January, I'm gonna stock up, baby.
But going back to the question itself, I could see Chase do something unique in 2025, a new product, if you will. It could be a business card. It could be I don't necessarily see a new personal card, but I can actually see him making the CSP better. Matt, I know that would raise an eyebrow. Make the CSP more competitive here. I'll say it like that.
Go on.
What are they going to do? No idea. But I can actually see them do something to help make it thicker and make it more competitive in the market that it's in, because it is slowly fading away like the picture in Back to the Future at the moment.
I'm a simple man. Just make the 3X online grocery, regular grocery. And you know what? I'll be straight.
That could be it. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
McFly.
With Amex, I see them adding an extra credit for some reason, but a credit that people actually like and are happy with. I can actually see that happen with Amex. I can't tell you what card it's going to be on. I don't know, but it's going to be like, hey, we're changing this. And people are going to be like, huh, I actually can't complain about it. This is a good credit.
Platinum. It'll be on the platinum.
Everybody gets Twitter blue.
Well, Tariq, you also mentioned the green card change. I can actually see the green card finally get its due diligence and might actually become worth it. But then that wouldn't make people happy because no one probably is qualified to get a welcome bonus on a green card right now, because we all have golds and platinums and other things. Now,
Not
Wells
me.
Fargo, they're going to open 12 new cards for some damn reason. I don't know. I just feel like they're about to just go ham on opening up new cards. Just like, here's a new product, here's a new product, here's a new product. It's going to be monopoly money in credit cards. It's just going to be like, you want the fuchsia one, the pink one, the orange one, the purple one, the blue one. Like, it's just going to be a bunch of cards that all do one thing. They do one thing very well, but if you don't have the whole set, if you can't color the rainbow, you're not going to get anything.
Okay, but
So-
how many videos is Matt gonna have to put out that day for each individual card? And the like, Matt's gonna be crazy. He's going to go crazy.
Yeah,
I
he
would,
will.
I would pay good money for that to watch. It's gonna, you know what? It's just gonna be a marathon live. That's what he's gonna do.
Yep.
And like each hour is gonna be dedicated to like each new card that Wells Fargo drops.
Yeah, they're gonna drop them faster than Kendrick Lamar albums, like straight up. It's gonna be just out there, just out there.
Just see
There does need to be a follow-up to
Wells
GNX,
Fargo dropped again. He just dropped this morning.
The phone, it dropped.
He just dropped again. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He just dropped. He just dropped the response to the response.
He just dropped when I said he just dropped. Citi, they're gonna add some new transfer partners that are gonna be more inclusive to a broader group of people. That's what I think. It might just be one or two, but I feel like it's time. Capital One's about to do something stupid. They're going to upset a whole bunch of people. And it could be with the Discover thing. And the reason why I say that is because the second the ink is dry on this Discover contract, or the transition, I should say, they have a lot of money to make up for their board members and shareholders. And so that's where the something stupid's going to come in. Where, once again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, these banks and issuers owe us absolutely nothing, and they're going to do what's best for their business, and what's best for their business ain't going to be best for you. And that's what I see Capital One doing. They're going to just like, someone's just going to get.
Say goodbye to your precious Discover It. The cashback calendar is dead. The only thing you're getting is that crappy Chrome card that I was stupid enough to get when I was in college.
And then Barclays, I'm with RJ, no comment. I don't really pay attention to Barclays. I have no interest in Barclays. And so I got nothing to add to Barclays, but sure, Barclays.
That's fair. Now, let me tell you right now, that stupid thing Capital One is going to do, as soon as the ink is dry on the deal, cashback match on the first year of holding a Discover card.
Oh, that's gone. Oh, it's gone.
Quicksilver on the Discover network. Whatever for good credit, Discover network. Discover It card becomes the Capital One It card, but no welcome offer on it either.
Cashback calendar goes from 5 to 3.
Yep.
That would cause
all right.
an uproar.
So 2025 predictions, each of the big banks. That's not a legit prediction for me for Capital One, but that's kind of what's going to happen with Capital One as soon as that Discover deal is done. For Chase, I think 2025 is going to be the year they actually make changes to their customer cards. Now, I don't know if they're going to be strong changes. I don't know if they're going to be the sort of changes that like I advocate for every time I go on. I go and make a Chase video that's like, Chase, please make these cards make sense. Please put these together in a more cohesive and better way. Something's been happening in the last 2 quarters with the Chase Freedom Flex card that just feels uncomfortable, and it just seems like one of the slots on the Freedom Flex is up for sale every quarter. And you saw it with McDonald's. You're seeing it with Norwegian Cruise Lines. I'm really surprised that the additional like March slots for tax preparation and insurance, that tax preparation wasn't explicitly like QuickBooks or Intuit or insert like Jackson Hewitt or H&R Block, where you would have gotten like 5% on tax preparation from H&R Block. I'm really surprised that didn't happen, but it's starting to feel like either the Freedom Flex is going to have a rotational category that is sponsored, which feels gross, or they're actually going to start making some changes to the Freedom cards. What those will be, I don't know. But the Freedom Flex feels weird.
Can I object on that one? So I understand where you're going, but I don't necessarily see it as well, obviously, it's like in this case, Norwegian is probably paying for that space to get that spin towards their product.
Yeah.
But then AMEX does the coupon offer almost every single year with multiple cruise lines, Royal Caribbean, I know Celebrity, and I forgot what the other one is they're all under the Royal Caribbean brand. There's 3 of them. But then there's always a Carnival one where, not to say there's a contract, but it's like, hey, if this works, because, you know, they can see click-through rate, they can see impression rate, and they can see, you know, take rate, even if it's not your ad or advertising. But if they're like, hey, if Amex is winning and people are putting a spin on Amex cards with these cruise lines, then how can we pay to play? And they probably walk down the street to Chase, and it was like, well, no one's working with Princess or Norwegian. Okay, sure. Let's try that over here with Chase. And you also got to remember 2 things, actually. One, cruise industry is coming back, and it's coming back hard and fast. But the other aspect of it is that the demographic in which people hold the cards. Someone that holds a platinum card might not be the same financial demographic as someone that has the $0 annual fee Freedom Flex card.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
someone that wants to cruise on Royal Caribbean or MSC is probably not looking at Norwegian. And so it's like, hey, this is how we can pay to play, you know, and we might not be able to bring our own toys, but we can both sit in the same sandbox. So that's the way that I personally look at it.
And I definitely agree, but then it's like, where did the McDonald's one come from?
Well, and when they paid for it, like every sponsored, like, am I the jaded one who's like every single category is always like paid? Like, I feel like maybe I mean, I can be very jaded in my life, but like every time I see a name sponsor, I'm like, yeah, you paid for it. Like, duh. Like, of course, these companies have 47. Like, do I think Dunkin' and Amex just really love each other? No, somebody paid somebody else for placement. Like, that's how life works. Like,
no, absolutely. I'm it's one thing where it's like a $7 credit every month, right? It's another thing to like buy a quarter of $1,500 to spend and try to generate.
Why is it? Why they're a credit card company, Matt? They're not our friends.
I'm not saying they're our friends. I'm not saying
the little horse on the Wells Fargo logo is not actually your pet horse. I hate to break it to you.
Man, why do you gotta crush his dreams like that? Maybe he just wanted to feel good.
Did Packers win? Just so you know, it's not my dreams you're crushing. It's a small person's.
Being that we're talking about the little horse, could we also acknowledge that the little dolphin on the Miami Dolphins helmet also has a little dolphin with a dolphin on its helmet? Please.
It's adorable.
Poor Tua. No, I do think Chase is going to be making some changes. I'm hoping that they can actually start at restructuring the Freedom Flex, but they're not going to. I think we're going to see something akin to a business reserve, an ink reserve, whatever that card is going to look like, and that they will make some changes to personal cards. What those changes will ultimately end up being, I don't know, but I do think they're starting to, if they're starting to wind down, you know, the referrals, and they're starting to wind down some of these other things, it might be indicative of another move that's coming that will make up for it in some way. Again, I'm not sure what that will be. I do think the customer cards are going to see some changes, and I do think there's going to be a new business card that comes in over the top of the ink. Oh god, the ink preferred. That is not the ink premier, or they discontinue the ink premier. I don't know exactly, but there's going to be some sort of, I think Chase is going to have a more interesting year than Tariq predicts. And I'm sort of on the page with RJ that something else is going to be coming. American Express, I think they're going to come back in at the lower end, but what that will entail, I don't know, because it's weird to not have like a low or no annual fee credit card available to people. With the exception of like a $0 annual fee business card that, yes, is relatively easy to get, but not everyone is going to think to get a business card from American Express. I do think the everyday card at the bare minimum needs a replacement of some sort, or the cash magnet. The other way around that is American Express can finally just say MQDs can be converted to MR points in some form or fashion. What that is, I don't know. Um, just so that the Blue Cash Everyday and Blue Cash Preferred can be those low to no cost MR point earning cards in some way. I do think AMEX is going to address that somehow. Uh, the exact way they're going to do that, I don't know. I do see the gold card, and sorry, the green card getting a refresh. 150 would be lucky to see. I do think it's going to get Centurion Lounge passes, but I think you're only going to get a small number of them, probably two. That's probably the safest bet with Lounge Buddy going away. You're going to keep the clear credit. And then I don't know where they're going to go with the annual fee. I know it's going to go up. I just don't know if you're going to see 195 or if the green card is going to cross 200. And if it's crossing 200, they really have to come in underneath. And Amex is an enigma right now. But you're still going to get tons of no lifetime language business card offers available to you if you happen to be Spathco or Sledge. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, the Autograph Beyond is definitely coming. I think they're going to add to their business products, to their business credit card products, and they're going to add one or two transfer partners. And I think that's all they really need to do next year. Like they just need to beef up their transfer partners in some form or fashion. I don't see someone like American Airlines, but like IHG should be coming. They should be trying hard to get IHG. They should be trying hard to work across some of their not direct access through Built, but some Built partners would be great. Which ones I couldn't tell you, but IHG, JetBlue, and some unique transfer partners would be interesting. Royal Thai or Vietnam Air or Korean, bring back Korean Air to as a transfer partner to someone. Um, just something unique to Wells Fargo would be huge. Citi, Strata Elite's going to launch. What Strata Elite ends up looking like, I don't know. A super nerfed prestige card would be fine, I guess. Um, Citi is going to extend out these whatever these benefits are that they've discussed with American Airlines. I don't think they're going to announce in 2025 that a transfer partnership will happen with American Airlines. If a transfer partnership is coming, it won't be until 2026 at the earliest, just based on like what I've seen from the language, and the fact that like I just it would have been stated already that 2025 was when it was going to happen. Since it's not there, I can't believe it's coming in 2025. Um, Capital One, they're gonna get this Discover merger probably done. And boy, howdy, is there going to be some slashing and burning after that. I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know what cards come out on the other side. I don't know what cards are going to be with um, what issuing partner, because this year alone, they made the VentureX business card from a World Elite Business MasterCard to a Visa Infinite business card. They swapped the Venture card from a Visa signature card to a MasterCard World Elite card because musical chairs or something. They're going to put cards on the Discover network. They're going to own the Discover network. They've updated their offers to move to offering you more Capital One miles in lieu of X amount % back in statement credit. That's going to continue. Maybe you see that extend to Capital One shopping, which would be interesting as a way to stack up Capital One miles while not having a Capital One card. If Bilt can do it and American Express can do it through Rakuten, why not Capital One? But there's going to be a lot of pain after that Discover merger is done. So I don't know what they're going to do after that. And Barclays, let me be the only one who will do something here on Barclays. Barclays is going to continue selling off their credit card, their business, their co-branded travel cards. So the Frontier card is going to get sold to someone. They're going to sell that back book. They're probably going to sell the it would be silly at this point since they're about to launch a premium card, but Barclays and premium cards don't go hand in hand. If you don't believe me, look at the Emirates credit card. The Emirates $4.99 card is a joke at $4.99. So Barclays doesn't really do premium co-branded cards. I could definitely see them selling their co-branded book of travel cards. They've said they want to get out of travel co-brands and focus more on store co-brands and things like that. So I could see Barclays continuing to sell off their travel co-brands, and whoever thinks that like the the Hawaiian cards are already going to be accounted for. The American Airlines cards are already accounted for, and they're going to make some serious money off of the American Airlines cards. That sale, part of why I don't think you're going to see transfer partnerships is Citi's going to take a bath on buying the Barclays backbook of American Airlines cards. You're going to be stunned when you see that number, I'm sure. So Barclays is going to have money to play with, and they're going to get into more co-brands with retailers and stores. Maybe Barclays is doing this in anticipation of getting the Apple Card back. They're going to get a boatload of money from Citi. They're going to get a boatload of money from Bank of America, and they're probably going to position themselves to bring in the Apple Card and let Apple kind of be Apple, but make it work a little bit better than Goldman Sachs, because Goldman Sachs had no idea what they were doing. So I think Barclays is making a play to get the Apple Card, and they're going to sell every single travel co-branded card that they have in order to do it. And they've still got some pieces to go there. Frontier is fundamentally changing their business model. They're making their co-branded credit cards interesting to pick up as a backbook. They have 1, 2, 5, like all of the major cruise lines go through Barclays. I know Princess goes through Barclays. I know Royal Caribbean goes through Barclays, and at least one more goes through Barclays. MSC, I think, goes through Barclays. Then there's the JetBlue cards. If the JetBlue premium card is what it could be, there could be a bidding war to get that card, to secure that card. Wells Fargo would make sense to jump in on getting that co-branded card. Chase loves picking up airline co-branded cards. Citi picking up another co-branded airline card wouldn't hurt them in the least. I don't see Capital One jumping in on any of that bidding right now. And then there's the Emirates cards, and Emirates could pick a new partner in banking. So I think Barclays is going to make some moves. They're going to get out of travel. They're going to get back into retail in some form or fashion, or start reissuing their own cards here in the US. They're like simple 2% and 3% back cards of various categories. So I do think they're going to make moves in 2025, but I call them the Screaming Blue Eagle of Death because they're ridiculous with what they have to do to get cards from them. But they're going to make some changes, and I could see them selling off all of their travel co-branded cards. So yeah, there we go. Jason, I hope that helps with predictions. Let's move over to our next question. This comes from KidCat in the Stack Your Points Discord. KidCat asks, if Chase cut their affiliate program and referral bonuses, do you think collectively as a community we would care about 524 nearly as much, what percentage of Chase fanboys do you think would turn on them? RJ, let's have you start this question.
So I don't think that the affiliate and the referral for most people would actually change that much as far as 524 goes. Like, Tariq, I'm going to call you out slightly, but like, you're not bankrolling your travel based on like your referrals, right? Like, that's just not a thing you're doing, but you care very much about 524 for other reasons, right? So, most people outside of the very, very top of the very, very top of YouTubers who are actually doing quite a lot through the referral program, like they're not getting a whole lot. Like they might get, 10 to 50,000 points, which is not nothing, but it's one sub, right? Like that is approximately one sub. So one sub a year you're getting off of referrals over the course of the year. That's great and that's helpful, but that's not enough for most people, and I'm going to say most people, to shill a company regardless of how you personally feel about the products. Um, I think if they cut it, you would see certain channels just simply not talk about them. I don't think there would be a dog pile. I think it just wouldn't be brought up. I think that's how some of the bigger channels would handle it. They just simply, the links would stay the same. They'd be in there if you wanted to use them, but they just wouldn't talk about it. They'd find other things to talk about. Um, do I think that most creators who talk about Chase positively are raking in a mass amount of points and like are beholden to Chase because of it? No. I actually think that probably for most people who are watching the videos, they think there's more behind the scenes than there is. Like, I have gotten a single referral that has actually netted me points in 8 months. One. I have gotten a single Amex one, and it wasn't even Amex points, it was Delta points. And I think it was like 5 or 10,000 Delta miles, which is great. I will use them, but I have 133,000 Delta miles. So like that 5 or 10,000 is nice. I am not going to give it back, but it is not fundamentally changing my travel, right? Like it is not changing what I can do. Even if I got 100,000 Delta miles, that would be great, but that would be maybe one trip because I'm not flying Delta Hub to Delta Hub. I'm flying through other places, so it is more expensive for me to travel. Um, so I think there's sometimes a version of the behind the scenes that people just think we're getting checks sent to us to like talk positively about X company or Y company. And I don't think that's true. I think if these referral programs went away, if you didn't get sign up bonuses for referring friends and family, something like that, I think that some things would change, but I think there'd be a lot less that would change than what people think because like we're not all getting paid off the way people think. Now, if I start shilling like kombucha or like green tea, like I'll tell you I'm being paid off. I'm fine with that. I have a number. Everybody has a number of what they will be paid off for. But my number for like credit cards is much, much higher than I am ever going to realistically bring in to shill you credit cards. Like I'm not shilling you the gold card from like luxury. Like that's not happening. And if I do, I will be very transparent about why I'm doing it. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I think it's an interesting question, but I think there's probably a lot less of it actually going on than people think. It's more like the wallets or the random other crap that people are selling, the apps versus like actually the credit cards themselves.
No, that definitely makes sense. If Chase, I'm not a Chase affiliate. Yes, I have Chase referrals, but like Chase cutting the bonus. So Chase is cutting the bonus on the ink referrals from 200,000 points a year to 100,000 points a year starting on January 1st. Is that really going to significantly change me having a referral link that I say is there and like get maybe one referral every 9 months? No. Um, yeah, it sucks that I'm only going to get like one or two referrals, but the referral amount isn't changing. Like, it's still going to be 20,000 points. It's just I can't get 10 cards bonuses for 10 cards. I get bonuses for 5 cards. Is that going to change like how I talk about Chase? No, I like to think that I'm relatively even-handed with Chase. There's things that Chase does that I'm okay with. There's things that Chase does that not at me. And I make those very public. Like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to wax poetic on how great the Chase Freedom Unlimited is. I have a Chase Freedom Unlimited, but it's not like the world's greatest card. You have to drop everything and get it. I'm not going to wax poetic on the Chase Freedom Flex, because I personally don't like rotating categories, but there are plenty of videos out there on the Chase Freedom Flex. Not calling anyone on the show out or anything like that. It's just what it is, right? I will always slam the Sapphire Preferred until the Sapphire Preferred is fixed. Until the Sapphire Preferred is a card I think is worthwhile of $95. A $95 service fee to get transfer partner access to me isn't cool. Does Chase cutting the affiliate program or referral bonuses change my thoughts on that? No. Chase making the card better will change my thoughts on that. Percentage of Chase fanboys do I think would turn on them? Everybody at a certain point will hit a breaking point with whichever company. Again, as Lonnie's mentioned tonight, as I will mention, these banks are not your friend. These banks are out for their bottom dollar. Chase is riding high on the things that work for Chase, but them changing the referral or affiliate program, I don't see a dime of the referral of the affiliate program. There are folks in the community who get some money, but again, the amount of money that we would get for being an affiliate is not particularly high. Like, it's not life-changing money. So yeah. And as for 524, I'm trying to break away from saying 524 because the less you say it, like, I feel the better. But would we care about it if the affiliate program or referral bonuses got cut? It would still be a thing because you'd still want to get Chase cards if there are Chase cards out there that you want to get. So maybe we take to changing the colloquialism for it, but if there's Chase cards that are out there, you're still going to have to take Chase's rules into account, whatever those may be. So, yeah. Lonnie, your thoughts here?
So going back to the question, no, I don't think anything would change. The first reason why is because no matter what changed from a creator standpoint, from an affiliate program, from our referral bonus program, as a consumer, Chase points and the Chase ecosystem is still valuable. So if you, the perspective of a creator, if I want to make sure that people still watch my videos, they still interact with me as a creator, no matter what they do with the affiliate program or referral program, I would still need to make those videos so that I could get the views needed to be a sustainable YouTube creator. Which I think is the very first thing. A lot of us became YouTube creators not to like quit our day jobs. I think all of us still have our day jobs actually, but it's more so to the entertainment aspect, to help the education aspect, to help other people out and things like that. Now, as my other co-hosts have mentioned, yes, there is an affiliate program. I'm not a part of it. For anyone that's a channel member, I did a members only video just recently, like a week ago, about sponsorships and affiliate programs. I've actually rejected them. I've actually had some of the card programs reach out to me and say, hey, it would be great if you came and joined us, but if you wanted to, you have to do X, Y, and Z to be a part of us. And I'm like, dude, you called me. I'm out. I'm already not interested because, as Matt recently just mentioned, a lot of the money you would make isn't enough to sell a piece of your soul for. It's not. I'm not there yet. Do I have a price? Absolutely. If they said, hey, come be an affiliate and we'll pay you $5,000 for every person that sign up a card, you best believe I'm going to be shoving that down your throats. I'm going to be all over it. But that's not happening, so I don't need to do it. And then as for referral is nice, but I see referrals as a tip. And I'm saying that honestly, because if you watch one of my videos, almost guaranteed in every single video, I actually say, I got my referral links in the description. Thank you in advance if you decide to use them. Almost literally every single video, I say that. Now, does that mean that every single video I'm getting a referral? Absolutely not. I'm not. I'm going to be completely honest. But even the referrals that I do get, what are 10,000 points, 10,000 miles, something in that range, it's not enough to like make a huge difference unless I was getting a lot of them, like maxing out the amount of referrals I could get. If I saw that, maybe I would actually consider an affiliate program where I could get cash in pocket instead or something of that nature. And then last but not least, the affiliate program, the other aspect where I'm adverse to it is that now I don't want to use the word chill like RJ did, and that's not a knock against RJ, but understanding those affiliate programs, you'll understand when a Chase or an Amex or a certain card co-brand is like, yo, we need some new cards because you'll see so many creators come out of the woodwork and talk about them, like all of them in the exact same week. And I'm not calling anyone out, but I know when sometimes they'll say, hey, we'll give you $400 per card sign up. And literally that week, every single person that's like on that list start talking about that card. They'll give drop two videos on it. And to me, that I'm not going to say it's disingenuous. You got to do what you got to do. Your bills are due on the first of the month, just like mine are. Like January, I got a whole new set of January bills. So I'm not going to knock you if that's the way that you need to pay your bills and live your life. But as of right now, I don't need to do it. And to go back to your question, ultimately, how would that change the community? No, we still talk about 524. If it's part of your strategy, absolutely. Like, if you need chase cards for your strategy, then that's not going to take anything away. So even if you like saying 524 or you don't like saying 524 or people say it too much or whatever, it's still a reality that we have to live in. And so I don't necessarily see anything change, but ultimately it's going to follow the money. We're all going to follow the money. Even you, Kit Kat, you're going to follow the money. The money that's going to help you in your life. We're all going to do it. So would the fanboys turn on them? No, they're just going to shift to where the money is. And that's my 2 cents.
No, absolutely makes sense. Tariq, any thoughts here on this one?
I'll just go ahead and give my variation of the same answer that was given for the last previous co-hosts. No one is going to stop talking about Chase if they get rid of the affiliate or the referral program. People are still going to talk about 524. I am not going to turn on Chase because I lose out on the one-off opportunity that I may get 5,000 UR points for sending my referral link to a friend and they get approved for the card. So that's not the reason why. I mean, yeah, we'll probably see like a reduction in the shilling Chase vibes, like the Chase videos. But in reality, people like Chase because it's easy to get your feet in the water in the travel game. It's easy to dip your toes in the travel game because at the very least, you're going to get an extra 25% boost on the travel portal. Or if you're feeling adventurous and feeling advanced, you can safely do Hyatt for 2x, United, Southwest, you name it. So I don't think the affiliate or referral program is like the huge driver in the credit card community for Chase. Like that's just what's going to be. I'm not going to all of a sudden switch from Chase to American Express or Citi because I can send a referral link and get points because, doesn't fit in my strategy. So, it's a good starter ecosystem. It's easy to get value out of there. You can kill and knock off at least a minimum 100,000 UR points in the sign-up bonus if you just get the Chase trifecta. So, yeah, I don't see it being affected or altered significantly should a referral program go away.
Now, if we all start shilling credit one, you know that we're on the take at that point.
Oh, you best believe we are getting a fat stack of change. If I'm shilling credit one, luxury card, first premiere, you best believe my little Kia is not a Kia anymore out there. I'm driving something that's probably German if I'm
Look,
talking about credit one.
credit one, if you pay me $1 million, I will make a video a week for you. I'm putting it out there. $1 million. That is the price on my soul, credit one. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a cheaper investment than me.
that's above my budget. I'll take $1 million.
I don't know. For something as bad as Credit One or Open Sky, I kind of want more than 7 digits.
They're a sponsor of the NHL. It's fine.
Matt, do you got 7 digits just lying around right now? Like,
But I ain't got 7 digits in my retirement
Wait a
account.
sec.
Matt's like, oh, you gonna have to call it, man.
No, it's just I like the idea that my soul has a little bit more integrity than that. That's all.
yeah,
I am not delusioned enough to believe mine does, sir.
Hey, man, that's
I'm
$1
not
million.
delusional enough either to walk away from a
A
10-minute
million.
video in 7 digits. Like, so my dad has this one line that I've carried with me my entire life, and he says, "Pride costs too much. Buy humble." So, Matt, I'm gonna be very humble. I'm gonna take my 7 digits straight to the bank.
Hey, man, that's a mill. That's a good amount that I could do with a mill. Most people were talking about retiring and having $1 million in their net worth from retirement. So
7 digits is a day off tomorrow. I don't care what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is a day off.
day off. It's about a week off at the minimum, man.
Welcome to the Credit One podcast.
Sponsored by First Premier Bank.
Million ain't what it used to be. That's all I'm going to say. Million ain't what it used to be.
I bet you got $1 million in a brokerage account right now. You wouldn't be saying that.
Millions more than my last paycheck. I know that.
My last 10 paychecks.
Before we fully sell our souls over to Open Sky, let's move on to the next question, which comes from AP, who asks, if you had a major life event, maybe you need to assume a caretaker role, whatever, a sudden life change that severely limited your ability to travel for a few years, what would you do as it relates to credit card strategy? Would you continue to accumulate or convert to cashback? If cashback, what are some cards you'd seriously consider adding to the rotation? And Tariq, I'll have you start this question.
Hey, look, all of a sudden my Costco Anywhere Visa has value again. So yeah, I'd probably, if I was not traveling for a certain amount of years, I'd probably just go cashback and axe all of my annual fees. Because at that point, the cards that I'm paying annual fees for travel benefits aren't worth it if I'm not going to be traveling. So I go straight cashback. I downgrade my Sapphire Preferred to a Freedom Unlimited. I cancel my World to Hyatt Business sooner than I'd want to. Well, I guess I still wait till September because, I don't want to make Chase and Hyatt mad. And I'd probably cancel my HG Premier Business, which would kind of suck because I like that card, but no value out of it means I ain't paying $99 for it. Few cards. Fortunately, I've already kind of transitioned from a cashback setup last year to travel. So I have a good amount of cashback cards. So I bring that back. I'd probably use my Navy Federal Cash Rewards card, which is now the Cash Rewards Plus, as my 2x catch-all. My Bank of America customized cash rewards, that will get love again. I might keep the Blue Cash Preferred, even though it has the annual fee, because 6x on streaming plus the $7 Disney credit, because YouTube TV decided to up their membership or their subscription price to the same price as Hulu. So I'm going to save $11 a month just by doing the Hulu Live TV. And then other than that, I would look at getting the Cash Plus from US Bank and the Attune card, because I may as well just fill in all the cashback gaps and, you know, deposit all my cash, and maybe that'll go to, I don't know, brokerage maybe, and just start building up the retirement and getting to that magical number that Matt says isn't enough, apparently. So, uh, yeah, I I like the question because it was literally my thought process was just going cash back before I even discovered the travel game. So it'd just be going back to me like a year or two ago.
Interesting. Uh, RJ, you're unable to travel for at least a couple of years. How do you approach this given your current setup?
So this was sort of reality. For my family for a while, my grandfather had Alzheimer's. So it was about 5 years of my family, you know, we could travel, but it was difficult to make sure, somebody was with my grandmother to make sure my grandfather was okay. My grandmother couldn't like lift him up or move him around to help, so we always had somebody with her. So I've kind of gone through something similar to this. In that you sort of, whether you're using cards that give you points, whether you're using cards that give you miles, whether you're using cards that give you cash back, you tend to just simplify things, right? You have one, two, maybe three cards for everything, and that's what you do. I mean, that's sort of what I did at the time is I had three cards. I can tell you what they are because I still remember the three card setup I had. Doesn't make any sense, but it was the Discover It card, the Apple card, and the personal Delta Gold card from Amex. It was actually my first Amex card because I got 40,000 miles to sign up for it. And I said yes, and a $200 statement credit. Um, anyway, but you sort of just simplify things, right? Like I used the Apple card for everything for years because I just was dealing with life. I was dealing with family. I was dealing with school. I was dealing with a lot of things. And I would not go back to the Apple card as my primary card, but I would go back to probably using like some version of, the Blue Business Plus and the Venture X. Now, what I will say, as somebody who has been in a caretaker role or been part of a caretaking rotation, is I actually wouldn't completely abandon some amount of very local travel. Like, there are times when on a random Tuesday for 9 hours, you just want to be at a hotel that is not your house. And having some points, choice points, Hilton points, whatever is local to you that you can just get there and back very quickly if something were to happen, can mean more than all of the gold in all of the vaults in all of the banks of the world. Like just being able to get away from your house for a little while and take a bath and take a break and take a nap, even if you're not at the hotel all night, which is a little bit of a wild feeling, but sometimes it happens, can mean a lot. And having those points there or having the ability to do that very easily can be very important for your mental health as part of a caretaking rotation. So I would not say you should completely cut out quote the travel game, even if you're not traveling away from your sort of city, because those mental health breaks are really, really important. Um, but yeah, I would simplify. Like the platinum would go, probably the platinum would downgrade to a green. I'd get rid of a green and probably the gold and just sort of shrink the lineup in a way that I know I can expand it later, right? Like if I had any cards that could go to no annual fee cards, everything gets dropped down in the hopes it will go back up. But you don't want to just close all of your cards if you don't have to, because that makes it more difficult for you later on. So you have to do it in a way that makes sense and not just a reactionary, I'm canceling everything but two or three cards.
No, that definitely makes a lot of sense, and that's a great point on the keeping something local. I think in my situation, if it were to change that, since my hotel card is no annual fee card, it wouldn't really make sense to drop that card, like with the Hilton Honors, but and keeping that option open to me. building up Hilton points is always nice. So definitely, it would definitely be a card I would strongly keep over, say, my Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, the Sapphire Reserve, I would obviously downgrade to some sort of no annual fee card to keep the credit line open. And then, should time or life allow, I could then jump back up to the Sapphire Reserve with no problem. So that would downgrade, but then I would still be accumulating points because I try to prioritize transfer currency points over specific points in specific programs, because I always think that, life can life, and so I'd rather have the bank points that can become points in other systems, so that, if nothing else, my chase points I can cash out at 1 cent per point if I have to, and take that cash and do whatever I have to do. Or I can keep accumulating chase points. Same with Wells Fargo. And I run a setup that really my most expensive card can drop to no annual fee. So if I'm not traveling for for a number of years, I can save myself the 550 every year, hold maybe a second Freedom Unlimited, or go down to a rotating category card and just, grin and bear it, and just just build the points, because that's not really like that's not the priority at that point, right? Like I can live with a card that I don't like because I'm handling other parts of life. And I know that I want to keep the credit line open. And as soon as I can, that's the first move I do going back to travel. Um, the only card then that would be up for closure would be the JetBlue business card. And I could of the two cards, I could close that card, be okay with closing that card. Everything else is no annual fee, so I can keep them open. I can keep accumulating points. And then it's just a question of, what else is going on. I have a lot of cashback options for myself, 2% across the board with the active cash or the Signify cash, 1.5% cash back across the board with the business unlimited and the freedom unlimited. So I've got a lot of and 2% or 2x membership reward points with the Blue Business Plus. So I've got a bunch of cards I can play with at no annual fee that I don't necessarily think that I need to add to the rotation with any serious thought. I could just limit my exposure to annual fees by downgrading, and then I'm pretty set across the board. I've got a lot of things covered, unless there was something like, I don't know, a card that gave back on health insurance premiums or something. But no card like that exists currently. So for now, um, I don't think I'd have to make significant changes, just because of the way that I approach things and prioritizing transfer currencies, so that I can always cash out at 1 cent per point in case anything happens in my situation, and keep building up Hilton points and keep accumulating Hilton points for those times where I just need to take a night stay and like burn 35,000 points somewhere. Like 35,000 points, yeah, it's a Hilton Garden Inn, and it's not like the world's most luxurious thing, but if I need that night to decompress, 35,000 points is more than enough to do what I need to do in that situation. So like, I'm not gonna like keep hoarding because, I've got to go to the Waldorf Astoria one day. No, if I gotta burn a night at the Hilton Garden Inn for my mental health, I'm gonna burn a night at the Hilton Garden Inn for my mental health. So yeah. Um, Lonnie, if you had a major life event, how would you approach things?
Yeah. Um, the f- to be completely honest, I'm gonna have to repeat some of the answers because I'm going last. But I would say not in a literal sense like RJ went through, but I mean, technically, we all kind of went through this. It was called the pandemic, and it lasted like 2.5, 3 years, where travel got severely limited. Um, Certain things weren't available, like you weren't spending as much, or weren't as many places to go. You really start falling in love with DoorDash, those types of things. But would I convert to cashback? Absolutely not. But as I had mentioned, as following up with RJ and Matt, I don't need all the annual fees and cards that I have now. I rocked out with my Chase Sapphire Reserve and my Mileage Plus Explorer card, my like first two real travel cards for so long before I started adding more into my setup, where I could easily just go back down to those two and just call it a day. Everything else I could either cancel or um, drop it down to a $0 annual fee card. Easy peasy. One, to keep the credit open, to keep the cards, the accounts open, those types of things, keep those points active. Now, personally, I would still be focused on earning those points, miles, whatever, for whatever, for whatever reason. One is, yes, as Matt had mentioned, my Chase points I can cash out for cash. 100,000 points is $1,000. I can cash that out really quick if I needed to, which is, always an option. The other aspect of it is like I've said, wouldn't cancel my Sapphire Reserve card, and I probably would. That would probably be the one premium card I would keep active because I'm able to earn so many points through Chase and so many points through United. That's why I would say I would go back to just focusing on those two cards. Now, the other thing is let's say I did keep some of my premium cards open, like a platinum card. Well, that one I could start using some things to stack, like United Travel Bank, because that lasts for 5 years. Now, I don't want to say like, hey, you took caretaker role and 5 years or less, you'll be out of it. But still, you stack $200 for 5 years, that's $1,000 right there. So when revenge travel comes back, when things can free up, or when you get that free moment to yourself to be able to take that break, it's still there. And you got your travel bank, you got your FHR, you got your credits when you get there. And if you were, no matter what type of house you're living in, apartment, a house, a mansion, you're with your parents, whatever, a luxury 5-star hotel feels pretty good when you get there. I don't care, like I said, I don't care where you live. It feels pretty good when you get there. And that might just be the break that you need. But would I change things too much? No. But like I said, I would definitely reevaluate some of the annual fees. Do I need the annual fees like I have right now? Probably not. We could easily take maybe $1,000 out of that. That's probably about as far as I would go.
Certainly makes sense. So we'll move from that particular question, which has some angles to it, to a more lighthearted question from friend of the show, Keith S., who asks, aisle or window seat? Lonnie, aisle or window seat when you're booking business?
Well, if you're booking business, hopefully you're always in the aisle. Seriously. If I'm not booking business, I do need an aisle seat. I am 5'11" without shoes on, and I need to kick at least one leg out into the aisle. Usually my left leg is the one I prefer. So I like to sit on, if you're facing the front, I like to sit on the right side of the plane for that reason alone. So aisle seat for me.
Makes sense. RJ from first class, do you have a preference on aisle or window?
My preference is having a plane that has one seat on one side, the aisle, and then two seats, so I can be on the one seat myself. That is my preference, and I actually have sometimes looked for that specific type of plane that flies out of my regional airport because I know which ones do, and I will book a flight to go to not my favorite location to get that seat. So that is my true answer. If I had to pick between them, probably aisle, because I rather get up so somebody can go to the bathroom than be stuck on the inside when somebody's like sleeping or something and you need to go to the bathroom or whatever. So if I'm traveling with a family member, I'm less picky because I will just wake them up. But if I'm traveling myself, I am less likely to just knock somebody in the head and say, hey, get up.
I like how I'll pick a flight because I'm looking for a Dreamliner. And RJ's like, no, I'm looking for this little putt that has a 1.3 or
Yes.
1.32
I'm
seating arrangement.
Look, if I can have the seat to myself and be in my own little bubble for 4 hours or 2 hours or however long the flight is, I'm happy. Like from here to LaGuardia, I am always on a one aisle two, and it makes me happy. So I take it.
So basically, RJ is buying stock into CRJ 900s.
Exactly. Or a bombardier. There are many of those as well.
Oh, the Bombardier. Tariq, where are you sitting in the plane?
Window. Honestly, I don't necessarily have the well, one. I'm not bougie enough like RJ to just drop all the bands on first class. I usually fly early in the mornings when I do, whether it's myself, my preference, or when I'm flying with family, and they gave me a ticket that said you're going this way. Uh, and then I usually sleep on the plane for that reason. So I kind of like tilting my head on whatever side of the fuselage, whether that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know. I don't care. I'm still here today recording this episode on now Tuesday, December 17th, because it's midnight in San Antonio. So like it hasn't killed me yet. And then usually I don't have to worry about getting up to go to the bathroom because the tank is usually empty before I get on the plane. And in the event that I gotta go, it's usually touchdown at my destination. So I'm straight. I'll be like my girl Erica Badu, give me the window seat.
There you go. For me, if I am traveling with my family, it is whatever is best for the arrangement. So, when we flew to Detroit, I was on the aisle, with little one on the window. When I flew with my partner to New Orleans, I was on the aisle because they prefer the window. If I'm traveling by myself, I would prefer the window, but at this point, I just want to get to where I'm going. If I have to buy an aisle seat, I will. It's fine. I'm 6'2". I can extend out my leg into the aisle as needed. Um, or I just fly in the jet that has the most legroom and economy, and then buy even more space from there. Um, and if I'm not flying JetBlue, I just figure it out. But I do find it hilarious that that RJ is all about Bombardiers and CRJs.
Look, I like my planes where I have my seat and it's just me by myself. It makes me happy. Look, if I'm spending the money for first class, I'm gonna pick the plane I want, and I'm okay with the little planes.
There we go. Heard it here first, folks. That's going to do it for questions. If you want to ask questions, you can utilize the Stack Your Points Discord. Use the podcast questions section there. Please join the Stack Your Points Discord if you haven't already. We leave a link for that in the description of all of our videos. If you want to ask us a question on YouTube, please use the comment section of any of our YouTube videos. Questions segment would be best for that, but wherever we'll find it. And finally, you can send us an email at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. We will answer your questions as quickly as we can. That'll do it for questions. Thanks so much for your time. Yeah. All right. As always, we thank you for your time in watching the Stack Your Points podcast. I am Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. RJ, where can we find you across the interwebs?
You can find me in the Stack Your Points Discord mostly right now. I do plan to make some videos in January. It's just a very long, stressful month of December for work. So I've been a little sluggish there. You can find me at Do You Take Cards on YouTube, but Stack Your Points Discord is where I am most of the time right now.
Definitely Lonnie, best place to find you. We're not going to have you go last this time.
Aw, thanks, buddy. You can find me right here on YouTube. Call me Lonnie, all one word, and Lonnie is spelled Lani. You can also find me in the Stack Your Points Discord, also under Call Me Lonnie. So reach out, come say hi.
Thanks as always, Lonnie. And Tariq, best place to find you?
Like RJ, you can find me in the Second Points Discord and also Reach Rewards. I am targeting a video this week. Don't know when. I'm gonna figure it out. All right, recording is gonna be done sometime this week, and I'll try to get it done. I know I said mid-December, and according to the calendar that we use, it is mid-December. So I'm gonna try to get that out for y'all.
As always, to quote the Counting Crows, it is a long December, so it's okay. I was hoping for a better laugh on that one. All right, well, that fell flat. Thanks, RJ. Well, as always, we appreciate your time. You can always check us out on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on YouTube. Wednesdays is the main show. Friday is Q&A. Monday is our Back to Basics. If you want to listen to the full show on the podcatcher of your choice, please download the Saturday show. That is the full show with slight edits. We appreciate you dropping 5 stars on the podcatcher of your choice to continue to grow our lovely space here. If you like what we do, hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube and check out our various channels as well if you want to check out our individual content. Lonnie just recently crossed 3,000 subscribers. I just recently crossed 1,500 subscribers. We're hoping to get RJ and Tariq past 100 as quickly as possible. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.